If you'd like to skip ahead, go ahead and use the chapter feature below. For the rest of you, welcome to my channel, Brennen's Budget Builds. For 2018, I moved to a smaller apartment in a bigger city and had less space to work, so I had to choose my projects a lot more carefully. For these projects, I was a lot better at taking photos, but not a whole lot of video. I used what I learned from the last few years to do some really cool furniture restorations. So here's the 2018 countdown list.
Project number 10 is still in the planning phase. This is a simulated flame made by a company called Optimist. It works by vaporizing water and using a fan to control the water vapor movement. The water then passes by very bright orange LED lights, and what you get is a very realistic looking flame, without all the dangers that come with an open fire. I was very interested in purchasing one. Unfortunately, for a complete system, it's several $1,000s, and even for just a bare bones starter kit, it's still close to $1,000. I don't have the space for it right now, but when I do, I plan on completing this project. So this is my 3D plans. It will also include a glass front. This will help control the humidity in the room when using it, as it can reuse the water instead of having the humidity escape. This is the simple design that I'd like to go for. On top will be a cylindrical fan blade. It'll push air down. The water vapor will then travel up to the left into the slit that will shape the vapor as it comes out. Right behind where the vapor comes out are the intense LED lights. In the end, I calculated to be about $100 for the system and parts. The mid-century fireplace might be a bit more. I'm still looking forward to finishing this project someday. Here's a bonus clip. For a future project, I'm going to be using this. The name brand is called Smart Film. The technical term is polymer dispersed liquid crystal. It is an electric switchable adhesive film, and you'll see it in use after I finish my countdown videos. Project number 9. I was able to piece together several different lamp components to get this really interesting looking mid-century lamp. It's a very quick project, but I liked the way it looked. Project number 8. In 2018, we moved to a bigger city, which was a little bit more expensive, and we didn't have a lot of money for decorating. So we found this canvas at a thrift store that was the right size for our room. We mixed colors that matched the room. We got a nice hue with our own painting, and I think the final project turned out okay. Project number 7. This was an antique Danish couch. I don't have any before pictures, but this is the after. The wood finish was not in good shape, so we wiped it down and cleaned it up, and this is what it looked like afterwards. The furniture straps were also worn out and needed to be replaced, but I didn't want to remove any original parts just in case it was worth something to somebody. So we added furniture straps over the top of the ones that were wearing out. That way any future owners can restore it back to the original condition if they wanted to. Project number 6. I was searching the free section on Craigslist and found this Credenza. It'd been sitting in somebody's backyard and had been exposed to a lot of weather. I wasn't sure if it was too damaged to bring back or not, but I gave it a go anyways. I disassembled the entire thing and wiped it down to get all the dirt off first. Then I wiped it down with a Restore finish. Here you can see the hardware where the weather did the most damage. I used a parts cleaner that worked great. Much of the wood had been damaged from being outside, so I had to use wood filler here to reset the hardware. After many hours of cleaning and restoring, this is the final product. I was surprised we brought it back as far as we did, and was happy with the end result. Project number 5. This was another Craigslist free find that had been sitting in somebody's backyard. It no longer worked and the owner just wanted it to be recycled, but I decided to try and repair it. While disassembling it, I took plenty of pictures because I was worried about putting it back the right way. While inside, I found plenty of rust and coffee residue buildup. I really hope that it wasn't being used in this condition. I still couldn't find the source of the problem, so I just kept disassembling until I got the entire motor out. From there, I could see there was a lot of coffee ground buildup in the motor itself. So from here, I scraped everything off and re-lubricated all the joints where the bearings are. I also removed as much of the grounds as I could safely. I remember it being very difficult to scrape the coffee oil off of this particular piece. Here is what it looked like after scraping and cleaning for a couple of hours. I was really impressed with how nice this looked after it cleaned up. I reassembled everything in the exact order that I disassembled it. I plugged it in and tried it out, and it worked perfectly. I'm still not sure what was exactly wrong, but I'm glad that the cleanup ended up fixing it. Project number 4. This was a birthday present from my wife, who knew that I liked mid-century modern furniture. One of this exact model in good condition can go for several $1,000s, and this one was not in good condition, so she was able to get it for much less. I gave it a good clean and wood glued a couple of loose joints. I used Restore a Finish again, which isn't great to use if you're planning on ever restoring it fully, because the oil seeps into the wood and is impossible to sand out. But at the time I didn't know this and was very happy with the way that it ended up looking. I am still currently using this desk and am editing this video on it. Project number 3. This is an Eames style lounge chair. An original Eames lounge chair can go for tens of thousands of dollars. This is an imitation Eames chair made by Plycraft, which still hold a lot of value. This one was in really bad condition, and I learned a lot on this project about restoring furniture. First, I disassembled it as far as I could. This furniture maker used a hard cast material to hold the joints, and there was no way to remove it, so I left them there as is. This one was stored outside and had plenty of rust buildup. In researching how to fix this, I learned that if you use a little bit of diet soda and aluminum foil and a lot of elbow grease, you're able to do a very good job of restoring the chrome. It was several hours of scrubbing, but this is how it cleaned up. As far as I learned, the aluminum acts as a very gentle abrasive, and the acid in the diet soda acts as a very gentle cleaner. The only reason why I used diet soda is because it doesn't get as sticky as the regular full sugar soda. After removing the damaged leather, I decided that I wanted to use a tweed instead of a replacement leather. This was the finished product. To repair the wood backing of the chair, I used a wax finish, and it did a great job of hiding all of the scratches and dings without having to sand it. The hardware was too rusted to continue using, so I took a picture of the replacement screws here. This was after 3 days of hard work, and I think it was worth every minute. Project number 2. There's a lot of things going on in this project, so I'll start with the TV. I got it in my head that I really wanted a nostalgia corner in my house, so I found a CRT TV and hooked it up to a Roku using composite cables. I found a developer that has a website called Toonami Aftermath. It plays 90s cartoons very much like how they aired, with commercials and set schedules and all your favorite shows you can think of. I highly recommend checking out the website or the app that you can get on the Roku. As much as I liked Toonami Aftermath, I also wanted to control what I watched, and I came up with this idea for a Time Vault iPod. I customized this iPod using a special PCB board that you can find online, and upgraded the memory to solid state with lots of room. These special boards can go all the way up to 2 terabytes, so I started loading up the iPod with my favorite cartoons and TV shows, and plugged in an adapter dock that allows me to play the iPod to the TV. I also began collecting unopened VHS tapes of my favorite movies. Currently, I switched out for a smaller CRT that I was able to get from a local arcade after they upgraded to LCDs. And to round out my corner, I have my Nickelodeon phone. Project number 1. This is my number 1 project because it is the favorite of everybody who sees it. For months, I scoured thrift stores and antique shops for household items that were available in the 1960s. I wanted it to commemorate space travel, which really picked up pace in the 60s. And I imagine a young person, much like myself, being excited by seeing exploration firsthand on the television and wanting to participate in some way by collecting up odds and ends around the house to make their own imaginary spaceship. From top to bottom, we have 2 different parts of the lamp a Stanley thermos, 3 flashlights that are medium size, a shoe lamp, and a large flashlight for the main engine rocket. For the base, it is parts of a fan. To make the fire, I wired all the bulbs in parallel, that way if one goes out, the others won't turn off. And it's on a simple switch dial. Here are the different versions of the display.
Thanks for watching my 2018 countdown. Please keep an eye out for the next video.